Oh, hello everyone. I'm Dick Wolf. I'm with Pat Sanders, who's the Community Development Coordinator, Codes Officer, and whatever else they can get you to do. Do you deliver coffee?
Sometimes.
We just had your assistant pull some figures on building permits issued in Winchester. This year, January and February. Last year, January and February. There's some pretty striking numbers in here.
Yeah, I think we had 8 new starts last year in January and February combined. This year we're looking at 31 new residential starts. So
boy, and I've got to lick my fingers in order to get to this paper, but that's almost $4 million in that's almost $4 million in projects and $15,000 to the city.
yeah, that's it's nice to have a little job security.
You don't get that money now.
No, I don't.
So what does this mean for Winchester? When you see statistics like that coming up, we've experienced a long downturn after 2007.
Absolutely.
And you say it's the bulk of these or the spike recently has been to Twin Creeks development?
Yeah, Twin Creeks has been the spearhead, kind of leading the thing, but we're not limited to the Twin Creeks development. We've had a significant surge in Cherokee Estates, which it was established right about 2007.
No, is that right?
Just prior to the crash, so it's sat there for years. But the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of activity out there as well. We've seen Magnolia Estates with the Grider family fill up. They're looking at doing another expansion to there. So
yeah, that's 60-something homes right there.
We look for future growth in that area, but yeah, Twin Creeks has been the bell cow, so to speak, thus far this year.
So does this put a lot of pressure on the infrastructure in Franklin County, finding the carpenters to do this work and finding the supplies you need for this?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be an issue that we're going to see, where it's going to be hard to get local help because everyone's going to be booked up, and we could probably see an influx of people from other areas. But all in all, it's good, and I think the developers at Twin Creeks, they've tried to contact our local contractors as much as possible to ensure that they are involved in this process and that it's a benefit to the community as a whole.
Pat Sanders, thank you very much for your help today.
Great.
We're gonna move on down to Twin Creeks now and have a little bit of a visit with Jeff down there and see what he has to say. With me now is Jeff Kinney. Jeff, you are the part owner of the Twin Creeks Development Corporation.
That's correct, yeah.
And there's been big news all around the county about our growth, the building spurts. There were more than a dozen permits just this past month.
Yeah.
And that's a short month.
Yeah.
So tell us about Twin Creeks, and if it's a big hit now, what's it going to be like in 5 years?
Well, it's funny, I get asked that question a lot, and although Twin Creeks is not the largest development happening in Tennessee right now, we jokingly say it's the largest development that nobody knows about in the state of Tennessee right now. Currently right now, complete build out of this project, somewhere around $210 million. That comprises approximately 330 to 340 both single family and townhouse lots, as well as a marina that's attached to that, a resort, lodges, restaurant, dry boat storage, boat dealership. So it's like this massive project that nobody really knows about yet, but of course we've been fortunate enough to get some of the word out. And before we even got in with the marina, 130 folks have just signed up and bought lots, and they're excited about it, and we're moving forward, so everybody's excited.
Winchester is very excited about it, and they love the tax base. Yeah. But they'll be they're planning on being good neighbors with the development. So the total build out is around more than 300 homes and residents. That's almost a city in itself.
It really is. I mean, it's our small little project that's kind of grown and grown and grown, and we didn't anticipate really growing it this fast and this big, but the demand for it was, we were really surprised how many people came out and took a look at it and said, wow, I want to be a part of something like this. And of course, we've added in addition some amenities in between, which I think helped out, helped spur the growth of it. But the combination of the clubhouse with the pool and the waterfalls and the areas to relax and read books and get away from kind of the hustle and bustle of where our buyers are coming from really helped. And then of course the addition of the marina is just incredible right now.
I can't imagine what that's going to do with the traffic on the lake. I mean, right now everybody has to either lug their gas, or they have to go to the north end of the lake to find a place to get gas up.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. So I have a boat on the lake, and we enjoy this lake. Me and my family, and my 4 kids, we enjoy this lake almost every weekend. And so where I live on the lake actually takes me, in order to get fuel for my boat, it's so far away that it takes me a half a tank of gas in order to get a full tank of gas. So that math doesn't work out really. So I'm the guy that's lugging the canisters down to the dock and, trying to get all the gas in there without spilling it. So not only personally for myself, because we have a place here, but also for people on this side of the lake, I think it's a tremendous opportunity for them to finally have a source where they can not only get fuel, they can have a restaurant, they can have a place to come relax with a family. They have a ship store in order to get, the things they need, the sandwiches and the ice and things of that nature. And of course, you being familiar with this lake, you know that the majority of the population is kind of on this side of the lake anyway.
Yeah.
We're only 0.8 of a mile from the downtown square of Winchester, Tennessee. So you couple that with the proximity, and I think it's a huge, exciting value proposition for a lot of folks on this side of the lake.
Yeah, it's not beyond the realm of thought that people might actually walk to the square from here.
Well, yeah, it's so we are. It's real interesting. The way we've structured our development is we understand our folks are primarily coming from Nashville, Huntsville, and Chattanooga, and so if you really think about it, we're situated in a perfect area where we're really an hour and a half away from 3 major metropolitan cities. So when it only takes an hour to get here, really what we're encouraging people to do is, you get here, you hang up your car keys, you get on your golf cart. You got to have a golf cart when you get here because you're going to drive to the marina. You're going to get on your boat. You're going to go out for the day. You're going to drive over to the restaurant. And so it's a situation in which people are going to come. They're going to relax. They're going to get on the golf carts. We've quite literally laid out spaces all through the development for golf cart parking. So it's really neat in that people, when they get here, they're here, and then only being 0.8 of a mile from the square, they can literally drive right up to the square and take advantage of all the retail space up there and things that they've got going on their golf cart, which is kind of cool.
It's an opportunity that's been a long time in the making. It's, as we discussed earlier. This will be a first for Winchester in that for years it's paid a great deal of attention to the development of the Winchester City Park. And working with TVA and other partners, I think they put together a great little park, but they never had any commercial applications on the lake here, other than Creekside, which a great little store, but it's one of those deals where you carry your gas can across the street. So in constructing these, do you also do the building, or is that done through you? How do you handle construction?
So we work a little differently. We don't force people to build with specific builders, although we have some recommended builder lists. We're primarily developers. And, we do build the townhomes and some structures like that, and marina, some other things. But really, what we want to do is we want to encourage people. And in our careers, we found that people. They love the property. They love the land. The land's the hard thing to find. Once you find the land, you can build whatever, you can build inside the protective covenants what you want to. But a lot of people have their own builders. They've got relationships with their builders. We just feel like telling people who has to build their home just really doesn't work for a good relationship with our clients. So we just say, hey, you want to bring your own builder down? That's fantastic. As long as you follow the protective covenants we've got on the property, then bring them down. We welcome everybody down here and we can get along. So a lot of our clients look at that and they say, wow, that's a huge benefit. You'd be amazed how many people have friends that are builders and been building for 20 or 30 years that are quality builders, and they just prefer to use them, and we welcome and encourage them to come on in and build the dream home on the lake.
So, but you do develop the roads and the like along here. So you've been a pretty active customer in terms of resources in Franklin County.
Yes, I mean, one of the things when you come in as a developer, you have to set up your avenues of success, right? And so subcontractors, suppliers, people that can get the project done from A to Z all the way through. And so one of the fortunate things about working with the city of Winchester is, as far as the planning and zoning and getting it done, because they've got a huge influence over kind of what they'll allow have happen and how we work with the relationship with the city. They've been absolutely fantastic in this process. And we're fortunate enough to have some fantastic suppliers that are coming in and really giving us the resources in order to take this project from building it out in a long period of time and shortening that in order to have meet the demand in which we've got out here right now.
Yeah, so and that demand, it almost went away. I remember when you held your first sale, I think you had about 67 properties available for sale, and when the day ended, you had sold more than 80.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that must have been a heck of a pleasant surprise to you.
It was a surprise to us that we were totally unprepared for. I mean, when you've got that many people coming out and seeing the vision, and you hope as a developer you see the vision, but nobody else sees the vision until you actually build it out. And you're right, we had about 70 lots available for sale on the day of the grand opening. This was at the beginning of 2016. So actually this month makes a year that we've been open.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been 12 months since we've been open. And we had about 70 properties available, and we had 85 people purchase that day. And that means that we literally had to spray paint lines on ground for people that wanted to buy, and we were able to perform for them, and it was great. It all worked out, but we just couldn't believe that we had to get cans of spray paint out.
Believe it, this is Franklin County. It'll surprise you every chance it gets.
It really does.
But there's been probably a pent-up demand for, I hate to say this, low cost. These lots come in at a pretty reasonable price, the starting price. And Dry Creek Beach, a public beach, is just across the road, so people have been coming to this area for recreation for forever.
Right.
And now that they know they can bring a boat and get fuel and things. So back to your supplies. You've got your roads, your gravels, and all those things are in line. You've got purveyors of those for your projects.
Yep, absolutely.
What about TVA? How's it been working with TVA? They're seen as the 900-pound gorilla here in Franklin County. You may have other phrases for them. I don't know. Yeah. But how have they been on this project?
Well, I tell you, anytime you say you're going to work with the government, I think everybody understands it's going to be a long process. And it's not TVA's fault. It's TVA. It's also the Army Corps of Engineers. It's also the TWRA. It's also a couple environmental companies and things of that nature. So, in the past, if you wanted to put a marina in, you basically just kind of signed a check over to somebody and you got your permit and you were ready to go. So that was the good stuff. The bad stuff that happened was you had a lot of bad environmental things that would happen, right? You got a lot of things that if you didn't structure it correctly, you would have things that would pollute the water and things of that nature. So, we worked really well with TVA. We really encouraged TVA and as a government agency and all the other agencies to do their job and do it correctly, because, without their oversight, sometimes you can just about do anything. That being said, it is a slow process, and you just have to get through the hoops. And so, it's a 2 to 3 year process of just getting through all that stuff. And so we were real fortunate that just about 3 weeks ago, we finally got our final permit to do everything. And so we're from a development standpoint, it's a little frustrating because we want to go. But TVA and all the government agencies in their right mind say, hey, wait a minute, let's just make sure we've got everything, all the boxes checked off and things like that. And so we encourage that because we want to be a good steward to the environment. And so when they gave us our final permit, wow, that was a celebration day. Yeah. And even to all our clients, it was a big sigh of relief and a lot of excitement. Immediately right after the permit was issued, we had, as you mentioned, we had dozens of permits for building permits for individual homes coming in. We've currently right now have 4 or 5 people on site breaking ground today. To this moment right now, we're breaking ground on 2 townhome sites right now. So it became an exciting day. It's really fun. It's neat.
So is this a dream of yours that's being realized?
Yeah. Well, if you're a developer, you always in the back of your mind want to do something special. You want to do something that's neat and creative. You want to do something you can come back in 10 years and look back and say, wow, I was a part of that. And when you do stuff, you couple it with a couple other things. But then when you get an opportunity to do a marina and a resort and lodges and private access to all this stuff with a community that surrounds it and multi-use. And you really look around and you say, man, this is one of a handful of properties like this in the southeastern United States. It's just neat to do. I mean, every day my kids ask me, hey, Daddy, you got to go to work today. I say, no, I got to go to the lake today. I mean, how bad is that, right?
Poor dad.
Yeah, poor dad.
Another day in the office.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and on that subject, you had to have realized when this became part of your dream that this property is dear to many Franklin County residents. The TVA came in and bought farm properties. And so some people have long held a little bit of resentment about anybody enriching themselves off. But you seem to have kind of gone out of your way to adhere to some quality standards in the way that this has been dealt. We're in your clubhouse here, which is a replica of a log home.
Yeah, so this actually was not part of the original development. This house, although it's at the front of the property and it looks like it's perfectly situated, this was, when we bought this property, this was an individual single-family home. It's a 3,200 square foot log home that originally was built in a different site, but these logs are from the late 1800s, and so the former owner had taken these logs and built it on this site. And it just so happened when we came and bought this property, Twin Creeks, this was for sale at the same time, and we thought, well, what's this house doing over here, and what's going on with that, and why is it on the market? And we walked into it and we looked around and we said, it's not actually a house. This is perfectly made for a clubhouse. And so we made the decision as an ownership team, hey, let's buy this house, let's incorporate it in Twin Creeks. And what you'll see when you walk around here is not only is it historic and neat, but it also fits into the community too, because it's got soaring ceilings and these big great rooms. We've got a pool with tanning loungers for if you want to read your novels and things like that. We've got a pavilion now out back that you can sit under and watch TV and football games. We've got, I call it the 18-hole golf course. We've got a little miniature putt-putt thing for the kids out here.
Okay, well, and old guys.
And old guys. So I can guarantee you a par on that one. And then, so it really fits in with everything, and it also tells a story. And you're right. I mean, I think a lot of times when people say, "Oh, developers are coming in," they kind of cringe because they don't know what they're doing. At the end of the day, we're guys just like everybody else. We're out here and we just want to really add to the community. We don't want to take away for the community or anything. We want to come back and look at it and say, man, we did that and people are excited about it and we were a part of that.
So in terms of your long-range plans, and how long do you think you will be active before this is built out? Is this going to be a career for you, or is this a stopping place?
Well, I mean, it's funny we say Rome wasn't built in a day, right? This is as I stated earlier, this is a $210 million project, so it's going to take a little bit of time to build out. We didn't expect to move at the pace we're moving right now. We expected to move at maybe a third of the pace we're moving. So we're in hyper mode right now. Our challenge is trying to get inventory on the ground quickly enough for people buying lots and wanting townhomes to live here. That being said, we'll probably be completely sold out of inventory at the end of this year. And then our focus now is getting the marina up and going as quickly as possible. We've got over 120 people that have already registered for boat slips on a marina that hasn't been built yet. So you can see kind of the demand that's going there. Currently right now, we just opened up from a registration to a commitment of people signing leases and putting up deposits. So we're getting a flood of those in right now in the marina. So we'll be building this, the marina, and the lodges, and everything else we discussed earlier. It'll probably be about a 24-month to 30-month project. So, and then it's done, and it's wonderful, it's beautiful. And the neat thing about it is it's not just all that. We got a lot of green space, hiking trails, places for people to get lost out in the woods, golf cart paths, mountain biking. We're gonna have cabins right on the water with Adirondack chairs and little fire pits and hammocks and things like that. So it's a really neat project, but to answer your question specifically, it's probably about a 30-month build out, of which we'll be involved with on a daily basis. It's all we're doing for the next 30 months.
Well, these are exciting times for Winchester and for the Kinney family too, apparently.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us and sharing the story of Twin Creeks Development Corp.
Happy to do it.
All right, thank you.